Jon Moxley vs. Seth Rollins, a war that could change the WWE forever. The WWE universe is buzzing, and the air is thick with anticipation as two of the biggest names in the wrestling world are on a collision course. A storm is brewing behind the scenes, one fueled by betrayal, history, and egos clashing in an all-out war. This isn't just any feud, this is the clash of two men who once stood together as brothers, reshaping the landscape of WWE forever. Hey, wrestling fans! Welcome back to Wrestling News CC, the home of the latest breaking news, heated rivalries, and dramatic storylines that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Today, we're diving deep into a situation that has been brewing behind the scenes in WWE for months. A situation that has taken a turn that no one could have predicted. Jon Moxley, Seth Rollins, and an alliance that may very well lead to the biggest war in WWE history. This is a story about betrayal, erasure, and the undeniable fire that has been lit between two men who once changed the industry together. The Shield, a force that dominated WWE, now stands broken, and Rollins is making some dangerous moves that could set the entire wrestling world on fire. Let's dive into what's been happening behind the scenes, how Seth Rollins has gone too far, and how Jon Moxley's response could rock the very foundations of WWE. The history of the Shield, rewriting the legacy. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. Back in 2012, the Shield made their debut, storming into WWE with a fury that left fans and superstars alike in awe. Three men, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, came together under one mission: to bring justice to a WWE locker room they felt was corrupt. They weren't a team, they weren't a faction, they were a force of nature. They tore through everyone in their path, leaving destruction in their wake. But it wasn't just the power they wielded that made them so special, it was their unity. They didn't just fight for the same goals, they fought as brothers. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose weren't just superstars. They were family, bonded together by a shared purpose that transcended everything else. They lived, they fought, and they died as the Shield. The blood, sweat, and tears they shed together created a legacy that would be remembered for generations. But what happens when that bond is shattered? When the unity that made the Shield so powerful is broken by one man's betrayal? Seth Rollins' new alliance, the era of the Architect reborn. Fast forward to today, and things have changed. Seth Rollins, once the architect of the Shield, is building something new. But here's where things get dicey. Rollins isn't just assembling any group of superstars, he's building what he calls his era, a vision for the future of WWE. But what's the problem with that? Well, his era seems to strongly echo the legacy of the Shield, and not just any version of it, but one without Jon Moxley. Seth Rollins has surrounded himself with a new set of allies, the master manipulator Paul Heyman and the hungry, dangerous powerhouse Braun Breaker. Yes, you heard that right, Paul Heyman, the same man who guided Roman Reigns through his record-breaking Universal title reign, is now in Rollins' corner. Alongside them is Braun Breaker, a man with a future that looks as bright as the sun, and who shares Rollins' hunger for dominance. But what's their first act as a trio? An assault on Roman Reigns, yes, the man who used to be Rollins' brother, the man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with him as part of the Shield. Rollins' alliance is sending a very clear message to Roman Reigns: his reign as the king of WWE is officially in jeopardy. And in the process, Rollins has completely disregarded Jon Moxley. He's not just ignoring him, he's erasing him. He's building a new version of the Shield in his image, without even acknowledging Moxley's name. And when there's one thing Jon Moxley can't stand, it's being written out of his own history. The fallout, Moxley's fury, and the road to Backlash 2025. Now, let's talk about the real problem here, the fire that's burning beneath the surface. Jon Moxley is not one to stand by and watch his legacy be erased. The man who once stood beside Rollins and Reigns as part of one of the greatest factions in WWE history is watching as Rollins builds something that looks eerily similar to what they had, and yet, Moxley is nowhere to be seen in Rollins' plans. This isn't just a professional issue, it's personal. Jon Moxley doesn't care about titles or accolades like some of the others. What matters to him is respect. And right now, he's being disrespected by a man he once called a brother. And the worst part? Rollins is moving forward with his new era without so much as a glance back at the destruction he left in his wake. So, what's Moxley's next move? He's been quiet, but anyone who knows Jon Moxley knows that silence can be the most dangerous weapon of all. Backlash 2025, which will be streaming live on Netflix, could be the perfect storm for Moxley's return. May 11, 2025, a date that could change everything. With the storm of betrayal brewing, there's a sense that Moxley isn't just going to let this slide. He's going to make Rollins regret the day he ever thought he could erase Jon Moxley from the story of the Shield. And what better way to send a message than with one of the most shocking returns in WWE history? The tease, will Moxley return at Backlash 2025? We're gearing up for WWE Backlash 2025, and all signs are pointing toward a massive return. The atmosphere surrounding this event is unlike anything we've seen before. With Netflix now in the fold as WWE's official streaming platform, they're looking to make a statement. And there's no better way to do that than by delivering a moment that will make history. Could Jon Moxley make his long-awaited return at Backlash 2025? The clues are mounting. Fans are already speculating that Moxley is more than ready to settle the score with Seth Rollins. And if the rumors are true, Moxley will be coming back with a vengeance, one that will shake Rollins to his very core. Imagine it, Seth Rollins, in the middle of his era, thinking he's finally done it. He's surrounded by his new allies, Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. He's dismantled Roman Reigns, and now he's ready to take over WWE. But suddenly, the lights go out. The crowd goes wild. And there, standing in the ring, is Jon Moxley, ready to rip Rollins' world apart. What's next for Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley? As we approach Backlash 2025, the anticipation is palpable. This isn't just a rivalry between two men, it's a war over legacy, respect, and the future of WWE. Seth Rollins may have built his new alliance, but Jon Moxley isn't going to let him erase everything they built together. The Shield will live on, and it's going to be up to Moxley to decide how that story is told. Will Moxley return to face Rollins? Will he confront the new version of the Shield, a group that's trying to redefine what they once were? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, when Moxley's fury is unleashed, there will be no turning back. Thanks for tuning in, wrestling fans. Stay with us for more updates as the storm between Jon Moxley and Seth Rollins continues to build. And remember, Backlash 2025 is just around the corner, it could be the night that changes everything. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. We'll keep you informed on all the latest developments as we head into what could be the most explosive event in WWE history. This is Wrestling News CC, signing off. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.